For both meetings with the hazardous chemical and machinery, the two supervisors for the scheduled meetings have decided to not be on camera. Their voices are still available. They are groundskeepers from Canberra Grammar School. Their voices will be heard and their injections will be made into the video. So what is the hazard with this hazardous substance?
Two-stroke fuel. Two-stroke fuel.
What is a risk that occurs when handling?
Spilling the petrol or the oil.
What is the likelihood that this occurs?
Low.
And the level of risk if this is to occur?
No. Well, we clean up the fuel if we spill it. Is that right?
Yeah. How effective are the current controls in making sure that there's an easy?
Very good.
Are there any further controls that are required with handling?
Use a nozzle and a funnel. Who maintains or? Me. I mix it.
How often is it regularly checked for what fuel's in it?
Yeah. So as it runs out, I'll take that to the service station, fill it, and then come back and put the oil in it.
What are the risk controls in the handling of it? So whether that be injury due to weight and carrying, or
well, it's only 10 kilos to carry, so it's not heavy. So they're under the 25. I suppose when it's being moved in the back of the ute from the petrol station, a bit could leak out, maybe.
And it's regularly checked. And this fuel pertains to the same machinery that we looked at before?
Yes, small machines, two-stroke machines like hedge trimmers, blowers, whippersnippers.
And it's a fully enclosed container?
That's out there, yes, that's just there for the moment, but yeah.
So what's a main hazard to do with this spot?
Dust.
Dust?
Dust.
What is a harm that can be caused by this hazard?
Inhaling, not very good for your lungs.
The likelihood that this can occur, obviously without required PPE.
Yeah, minimal, because the what would you call that? The extraction system on that machine is very good.
And the level of risk?
Low.
Including PPE and obviously the extraction system, how effective are the controls?
Very.
Are there any further controls that are required or an upgrade?
Sometimes noise complaints, but we deal with that as we do.
Who's in charge of looking after the controls and maintenance?
Me.
How often is the maintenance maintained?
Yep, 50 hours. 10 hours for some things, like filters.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the noise, how do you mitigate the risk to the worker?
EARMUFFS.
And the maintenance is consistent?
Yes.
That's the first one. Whilst working in this tool shed, you are required to use steel cap boots. This means my non-capped shoes aren't allowed and I must remove them and change. This is just a basic check of a backpack leaf blower. You go through and you make sure there is no dust covering the filters, that there is fuel and that there is oil. You also check that the buttons on the trigger for the blower are working. One of the main risks and hazards involved with using leaf blowers is noise. So for this, a way to mitigate this is through earmuffs. So there's a clear distinction between wearing the earmuffs, making sure everything's locked in, and it's much safer for the ears. There are lots of hazards for these kind of machines. This is a handheld leaf blower. There's a sign for make sure there is nothing covering the fan that can lead to heat. Excessive heat, sorry. Make sure you are in correct PPE, you have read the manual, and the fact that it is a petrol run motor, it is caused it to be hazardous. All forms of machinery need to be stored after use, or whether they're just loose or hanging around. This is what I've done with the 2 leaf blowers. They were on the floor of the shed, and they were trip hazards, and they were also just low because of fuel. Once you've completed work for the day, you are required to take off your PPE and return back to civilian clothes. This is to not drag chemicals or plant life into or out of the workspace.